What if you discovered your granddaughter wasn't counting down to birthdays, but to pain? That's what hit me the morning I noticed those red circles on my granddaughter Emma's calendar. Sloppy, rushed marks scattered through the month. I pointed at them, pretending I wasn't already uneasy. "It's nothing. I just don't like those days," she whispered. Kids don't talk like that unless they've learned to anticipate pain. She stepped away from the calendar like it might spark under her feet. I told myself it was nothing, but the truth settled deep. Mark, my son, always hid his temper well. Too well. I'd ignored signs before. I wouldn't ignore this one. When the next red mark day came, I drove to their house and parked in the shadows. It felt ridiculous, spying on my own family, but something inside me was already bracing for impact. Through the window, I saw Emma curled on the couch, knees tight, fingers digging into her sleeves. She wasn't watching TV. She wasn't playing. She was bracing. Mark stood over her, pacing, throwing sharp words like stones. His face twisted, his hand lifted, and came down, hard, too hard. Emma didn't scream, didn't whimper. She just flinched with the kind of silence you learn when tears only make things worse. Right then, the red circles stopped being a mystery. They were warnings, predictions, survival dates. My granddaughter had been living on a clock made out of fear. I backed away before Mark noticed me. Rage was clawing at my ribs, but rage without proof is just noise. I needed to be methodical, precise. Over the next weeks, I tracked him like a man studying a dangerous animal. Quiet, focused. I checked his late-night calls, numbers with no names. I followed the missing money payments, siphoned off into hidden accounts. I watched him flirt in bars with women he'd never admit knowing. And all the while, Emma stayed soft-spoken, jumpy, tired, the way kids look when they're learning too much, too young. I kept asking small questions, careful ones. "Emma, do you want to stay with me this weekend?" Her yes always came fast, not excited fast, but relieved fast, like she'd been waiting for the door to crack open. I started logging bruises she tried to hide, days she missed school, teachers' notes that mysteriously vanished from the system. Mark had built walls around his life, but walls mean nothing once someone finds the seam. The investigator I hired finally handed me the file, thick, heavy, damning. Photos, medical reports, statements, all matched perfectly with Emma's red circles. Pain, recorded like weather. That night I made a choice. I wasn't just a grandfather anymore. I was the person who would end this. I drove to Mark's house on another red mark day. Emma opened the door. Relief flickered across her face like a light switching on. Mark entered the room seconds later, confused, trying to swallow the panic rising behind his eyes. I placed the file on the table. "Read." He smirked at first, that cheap, arrogant smirk abusers use before they think they can talk their way out of anything. Then the smirk died. Page by page, he saw himself reflected back, the bruises, the dates, the doctor's notes, the photos he couldn't lie around. His face drained, his hands shook. And behind me stood Emma, silent, watching, unbreakable in her stillness. He opened his mouth, excuses, panic, whatever he could grab, but I cut him off. "Don't talk!" His shoulders collapsed. He wasn't the man he pretended to be anymore, just a coward caught in the light. Then I told him what he didn't know. Copies of the file had already gone to Child Services, his wife's attorney, his employer, the police. There was no erasing anything, no twisting the truth, no running. I leaned in, calm as ice. "You won't circle another day." Those words shattered him, not because I yelled, because the truth in them was final. He looked at me, not like a son looks at a father, but like a man staring at the end of the road he built himself. I took Emma's hand and walked her out. Behind us, the life he constructed finally started to collapse. The knock on the door, The officers, the calls, the consequences, all of it earned. Emma lives with me now. She sleeps through the night. She eats without fear. She's learning to laugh again. The calendar is gone. No more red circles. Only blank days, quiet, clean, waiting to be filled with something better. Sometimes, late at night, I think about the boy Mark used to be. I try to understand where he twisted, how he let darkness take root. But blood doesn't excuse what he became. It doesn't erase what he did. It doesn't earn mercy. He built his own cage. I just locked the door,